Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the official beginning of the Model Train People Train-A-Thon. So, hope you all are doing well, and hope you all are ready for a nice, fun day of lots of trains, and we'll have some weathering, people doing some weathering, some people doing some operations on their layouts. We'll have later on in the day, in a little bit, we'll have some virtual railroading with one of our members who is developing a Gmod transit server. Yeah, lots of fun stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and start us off by just going ahead and playing our video in case anyone missed it.
Hi.
We're gonna start off with that, and then I'll just chat for a little while here, and then we'll get into some actual content. So let me go ahead and get that pulled up so we can begin. So you'll notice in the corner of the screen, this corner down there is a QR code, and that will bring you right to the GoFundMe for Novalia. So that should bring you right there if you want to go ahead and donate. It'll be open throughout the day, and it'll be open as well for I'll leave it probably open for about a week after the event. That way you have time to donate. But I'm going to go ahead and start us off with the video. So here we go.
Hi, my name is Dennis, or N-Scale Train Boy on YouTube. And just over a couple months ago now, my cousin Krysten Remy was killed by her boyfriend, leaving their less than a year-old daughter an orphan. Their daughter, Novalia, is safe. She is under full custody of my uncle, her grandfather now, and she's doing well. But obviously this is a horrific situation for her to be in, especially at such a young age in her life. Model Train People, which is a model railroading group catered towards modelers under the age of 40, has decided to put on an event we like to call the Train-A-Thon, which is a 24-hour live stream starting on June 15th and ending on June 16th, both at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, and we'd be really thankful if you joined us for that. It is basically going to be a 24-hour live stream event where content creators and members of our group will be streaming on YouTube, raising money that will be the proceeds from which will be put into a 529 plan to accrue interest for her when Novalia is ready to move on to go to college. But an important secondary aspect of the event is not only to raise money for Novalia and raise awareness of her, but also to give modelers an opportunity to share what they enjoy doing and share their skills and talents. We're looking for anyone who can help us to come and join us on the 15th and 16th. If you are interested, reach out to modeltrainpeople@gmail.com and let us know. We really appreciate all the help that we get. And even if you can't help out, we do hope that you'll tune in on the 15th and the 16th and help us raise money for someone who I love dearly.
Hey, now you can hear me. Sorry about that. But yeah, so now that we've got that brief overview out of the way, I'm just going to chat for a little while here. So yeah, basically we're just gonna have a really fun day today. I'll be live both on my YouTube channel and rebroadcast it to here, and that will hopefully be a lot of fun. I'll be doing some weathering for a while. I'll be doing some ops for a little bit. That's gonna be a great time. You can see my layout here behind me, as well as some stuff that I need to clear up before it's my time. But it's gonna be good. Let me, there we go, do that to improve a little bit. But yeah, so trying to think of what to chat about here for a little bit. Yeah, I guess I'll talk a little bit about what I like to do in model railroading for a little while. So for me personally, I am an N scaler. That's what I do. It's what I enjoy. No problem, Lily. Glad you could point that out for me. It was actually, I had some fans running. Morning, Tim. Thanks for stopping in. Looking forward to a good day. But yeah, so I'll just chat for a little bit about some of what I do. So I'm an N scaler. I do N scale model railroading. It's the size that works for me. It's small enough that I can have plenty of railroading in a relatively small space, since I'm just out of college, so I don't have a ton of space yet available to me. So I can still do a lot in a little bit of space, which is what I really love about N scale. Yeah, I really enjoy weathering a lot, and I enjoy storytelling in model railroading. So I do proto freelancing. I have my own fictional railroad, the Balfour and Colucci Creek Southern, which I've got a whole website for and everything. Spent the time to really put in, the backstory and try and make it real. And between that and the weathering, which I really enjoy, I landed on modeling, 1975 to 1985-ish. And I'm a Northeasterner. I'm a New Yorker. So personally, I model roughly, because obviously the proto freelance. My modeling focus is the former New Haven line. I like to basically I model from Danbury, Connecticut to through Poughkeepsie, New York to Maybrook, New York, over the former Poughkeepsie Railroad Bridge. It's something I really have taken a liking to, because I kind of grew up near that line. Not when it was active. It was deactivated and hasn't really seen trains in a couple decades now. Last time I really saw freight was in the 90s, when Conrail did through trains from the lines in Connecticut and New England, southern New England, through to the Hudson line at Beacon, New York, which is where the line, one of the points where the line connects down to the Hudson line. But since then, and that was the mid-90s, or early to mid-90s, and since then the line really hasn't seen any trains. It's owned by Metro North, and they use it sometimes, very rarely, to shuttle equipment from one line to another. But I really got into it because it's now currently a rail trail that I really enjoy kind of learning about. And I spent some time at my local historic depot and just really learned about kind of what the rail line was. And the more I learned about it, the more I really enjoyed it. It's actually kind of a funny story. When I first got into model railroading, I thought, because I was getting, Model Railroader magazine, and I was watching videos on YouTube and stuff, and a lot of what I was seeing was either Southern Pacific, Union Pacific, BNSF out in, California, Arizona, out in the deserts, in New Mexico, stuff like that. And so that was what really kind of caught my eye. So for a long time, not a long time, for several years though, when I first really got into probably my first 4 or 5 years of really getting into the hobby, I thought I was going to model Union Pacific modern day. So I started picking up Union Pacific stuff, Southern Pacific stuff, things that I could reasonably see out west. But really, the more I learned about railroading in the Northeast, the more I fell in love with it. The density of it, the kind of level of integration with the local history that everything is. And that certainly exists out west. But yeah, it really is. So much of the hobbies is out on the West Coast. That's just what people enjoy, and I enjoyed it for a long time too, and I still enjoy seeing I went to Bill Brown's Leadville and Redcliffe layout a couple months ago as part of Central New York's Opposite to the Drop event, and it was a beautiful layout. I love seeing the out in Colorado and on the deserts, and then I love the Tehachapi Loop. I've seen one of the big inspirations for me when I was getting into the hobby was an N-scale layout of the Tehachapi Loop that someone was building in their house, the whole line. And I don't believe that channel exists anymore, unfortunately, because I've gone back to look for it and I haven't found it. But it's great. It's so great. But there's a lot of history and a lot of really enjoyable railroading for me here in the Northeast. So I shifted my focus to focusing on the New Haven. I was back and forth a little bit between the New Haven and the New York Central because I also grew up, I grew up right pretty close to the Hudson River. So both the West Shore Line and the Fort Track, Maine from New York to Albany and out along the Erie Canal to Buffalo was also a big inspiration for me. And actually, this shirt here that I have on is from I volunteer at the Hyde Park Railroad Station in Hyde Park, New York, and you can see New York Central. There you go, New York Central and Hudson River Railroad right there on the collar. And I've got myself a 20th Century Limited and everything, but I just something about the New Haven really caught my eye. And I fell in love with it. So the BNCCS, which is my fictional railroad that I proto freelance, basically it was originally intended to be a fictional subsidiary of the Union Pacific, and I was very easily, because I really hadn't begun anything on it other than like coming up with the name. I was quickly able to kind of pivot it to a northeastern road, and I eventually developed it into this whole history that basically it was a couple of railroads, the Balfour Railroad and Colucha Creek Southern Railway, that merged during the Depression to improve revenue and cut bloat and stuff like that. And eventually grew financially to the point where after the McGinnis bankruptcy, or after the McGinnis era on the New Haven, the railroad was real poor. I kind of pushed it a little harder on the New Haven side for New Haven to bankrupt a little earlier. In actual history, I believe it bankrupted in '61 for the last time, before winding up in Penn Central. But I pushed a little harder on the railroad, and I got it bankrupt in '54. So New Haven's bankrupt in '54, and my railroad purchases it out because it got a lot of through traffic from the New Haven, and it didn't want to lose that traffic. So rather than go under as well, they, had a good reserve or whatever, and had good finances or whatever you want to say. I think something along those lines is what I put in my history. But they were able to buy out the New Haven and keep the railroad alive. And so the two railroads operated kind of coexistently through the 60s and 70s. And I think it was 1981, either 80 or 81. I can't remember off the top of my head. I have the New Haven formally merging into the BNCCS rather than the other way around. Just for fun. So it allows me to, modeling 1975 to 1985, have the New Haven Railroad still around, have the Poughkeepsie Bridge still around, because the BNCCS took much better care of that bridge than the Penn Central did in actual time. So the bridge fire never occurred, which was a huge disaster, really, for the railroad. But since Penn Central just mainly wanted to keep using the bridge up in Albany that the New York Central had, they really didn't care that they lost the Poughkeepsie Bridge. And now, because of that, any freight train trying to cross the Hudson River has to go an extra 100 miles north, which is insanity. But so I kind of did a little tweak here and there, and so I can have the Poughkeepsie Bridge still around. I can have the New Haven still around in the 70s and 80s. So I have a couple U-25Bs and C-424 in the New Haven paint scheme, and I can still have rolling stock in the New Haven. I still have boxcars for New Haven. Actually, you can see one right there over my shoulder. But it all just kind of built up to this point where now I'm able to have all this stuff, but also do things that I enjoy. So the New Haven Railroad was a GE and Alco railroad, like almost 100%. The only EMDs it had, as far as diesel locomotives go, was it had FL9s at the end, and it had Jeep 9s, I believe, and it might have had like some road switchers, or not some road switchers, some yard switchers. But other than that, it was like 100% an Alco and GE railroad, with some Baldwin and Lima early stuff sprinkled in for good measure. They tried a bunch of stuff, but I really enjoy EMD GP40s and SD40-2s. I love the look of them. So that allows me, for the BNCCS, I can have Jeep 40s. I can have SD40-2s. I could have MP15s for yard switchers. Stuff like that. But I can also still have, New Haven RS3s, New Haven RS11s, New Haven U25s. And then by pushing a little further in time into the 70s and 80s, I can also have Dash 7s for the BNCCS. I can have the very, very earliest of Dash 8s. I tweaked again because really the Dash 8s didn't start coming out until 87, and I kind of have my cutoff at 85. But I really like the Spartan Cab Dash 8, the not the wide cab version, the standard cab. I really like it. I don't know why. Something about it just really sticks out to me. Standard cab GEs are something I really enjoy. So I have a couple. And again, it's that proto freelance. I run the railroad like a real thing. I do my best to make it real, but I also have control to do whatever I want. So it's like, well, the BNCCS got the very first test units of the B40s, and then Conrail got a couple after them. And so I've got a Conrail Dash 8 and a BNCCS Dash 8. And it just allows me to have that level of control and, fiddle around. So that's my railroad, basically. Right now, it's not very much. I have all this backstory and all this, layering of stuff, which allows me to build things up. But as far as the actual model railroad goes, that's it right there. This 1 foot by 6 foot board behind me, that's all I have. I have tons of rolling stock. I have enough to fill every inch of track on there probably twice, if not more. Right now I just have this switching layout, and this switching layout really isn't based on anything. It's a track plan I drew up in 10th grade, I believe, and figured out, laid the track down in 11th, and built it actually for a school project. But having that world building, exactly, Eddie, it's like 80% of the challenge. Having that world building, having that base layer of this is what I'm modeling, and allowing me to build from there means that even though this is all I have, as I'm continuing to improve this, it allows it to be real. Yeah, sure thing, Eddie. I'll go ahead and we'll do some Q&A. I mean, as far as what got me into the hobby, I've always loved trains. Since whatever. My parents like to joke that really it's I was born in a hospital overlooking the Hudson River, and I heard the Metro North trains and the Amtrak trains and the CSX trains on the far side, and I was like, that's it. That's my thing. So I've always loved that, and I grew up watching Thomas, and I grew up playing with Thomas, wooden railway system, and I grew up playing with Fisher Price, Geotracks. But I think what really got me into model railroading is my first introduction to it was through my grandfather. He has a pretty good collection of Lionel trains. From a lot of them are fairly modern, but he just likes trains too. So he has a decent collection of Lionel trains, and we have one that we always put around the Christmas tree every year, and that connection really kind of got me started, and really kept it going after I started to get older. Then old enough to get out of Thomas and Fisher Price trains and stuff like that. And then for one Christmas, I got a NC in St. Louis, Nashville, Chattanooga, and St. Louis HO scale Bachmann set for Christmas, and played with that for a while, and then kind of fell away from it. But I still kept loving trains and watching trains on YouTube, because this is now getting into the era where YouTube starts to come around, and watching train DVDs, because we're really past the VHS point, but we're not to the full digital point yet. So I had a bunch of train DVDs and stuff. Excuse me. And so continuing on with that, my parents finally decided, all right, we're going to get him really started in model railroading. And this is, for my 11th birthday, I got a Bachmann starter set. I believe it was called the Explorer. And I still have all the train cars from it in my collection. Actually, right here is there's the locomotive from my Bachmann Explorer train set. So this is my very first model railroad locomotive in N scale. And we decided on N scale because I grew, I've got two younger brothers, and we don't really have that large of a house. So having N scale allowed me to actually do model railroading and not take up a quarter of the living room, or a quarter of whatever room I was setting up my loop of track on the ground on. So and then from there it was from there I was done. I was hooked, and I started I got this train set for Christmas, and then for my next birthday, I believe it was, or I got this for my birthday, and then I believe it was either for that Christmas or my following birthday. I can't remember exactly. My grandfather got me the Bachmann Empire Builder train set, which has even more track, significantly more track. It came with like 8 cars or something like that, because this starter set came with like 5 cars. I think it was. It came with like a 50-foot boxcar, a 40-foot boxcar, a tanker, reefer, and a caboose, I think, was what it came with. But the other train set came with like cover hoppers. It came with coal cars. It had like 8 or 9 train cars behind a 484 steam locomotive. And of course it's the old Bachmann 484 that it's a real piece of junk, really. But it was like magic to me. It was like, whoa, I could do this huge long train, and I could do 2 loops of track, and I could do this and that. And then from there I just kept going, and eventually I wound up building this, like I said, in 11th grade for a school project. It was I've just been going since then. Really got into weathering, because that was my next big thing. After I started doing trains, and I was like, well, this is cool. I started feeling like, well, I
kind of want to make it feel real, more real. And obviously there's only so much you can do running a loop of track on the floor. But I started getting Model Railroader magazine after picking one up at Barnes & Noble. And I found myself looking really closely at one article in particular, which was, I can't remember who wrote it. I gotta go back and actually, I should go back and look for this specific article. It was in like a 2014 or late 2014 or early 2015 article, something along those lines, where the artist or the author was going through and describing the process and basically walking you through the process of using pan pastels to weather a train car. And I was like, that's cool. I was like, I want to do that. So I got an artist kit that I had, and I started shaving down all the chalk pastels and started just, doing the most horrendous chalk weathering you've ever seen. But it got me started. And I was like, well, I keep rubbing all the chalk off with my hands, because I didn't know what dull coat was at the time. I didn't know anything about that. I followed a couple of the steps from the article, but I really didn't do that good of a job following the steps. I didn't know what dull coat was. I didn't know anything. So I just kind of was like, all right, well, I want to do more, and I want it to be a little more permanent. So I started using acrylic paints, and it's some pretty horrific stuff. Here's an example. Actually, this is one of the train cars from the same Bachmann starter set that I had very first. It just looks like you dropped it in the mud. It's what it looks like. But it got me started in paints. And then over time, I was like, all right, well, I need to pull the levels back more. I need to do less and less weathering. That makes it look more real, and it just built from there. And then I now have the skills that I have to be able to do some pretty great weathering that I'm able to do now. So that's kind of been my trajectory, and now I'm finally starting to get into scratch building. I've got this building right here, which you'll see in my portion of the stream later when I'm doing ops, and maybe I'll grab it before. This building here was my very first real scratch built thing, other than some generic rectangular buildings with some windows cut in it that I did for a little scene, a little diorama that I built, which were just brick buildings, and I guess that technically counts. But this is my first thing that I really put some effort into. I designed it out more than just, all right, here's a rectangle, I'll put windows at these levels, done. But I started to work on this, and I got that built, and that's just a basically shed for keeping lumber dry in my lumber yard there. And now I'm starting over here. I've got the unloading shed for a cement distributor where covered hoppers roll under there to have a shelter to unload their product into the hoppers beneath, and so on and so forth. And that's what I'm currently, that's the kick I'm on right now, is scratch building. And I've got a decent amount of skill in that, mostly because I just finished school to study architecture, so I have a good amount of experience in model building and using scales to design things. I've got actually, is it here? Or no, it's on my desk somewhere here. I've got my N scale, oh there it is. My N scale ruler, which I picked up on eBay for $5 or something. It's pretty great, but having the ability to understand how to use scales really has helped me. And it just allows me to dive into these new things that I haven't tried before without as much fear, I guess, because I'm used to doing these things. So just expose yourself to things. Try things. That's my professional advice, I suppose.
is try different things in the hobby. See what interests you. See what catches your eye. See what you're good at, and find things. So that's my 2 cents, I suppose. But yeah, what else can I talk about here? I can talk a little bit about what I'm working on right now as far as what model routing is. So obviously working on the layout as always, but I'm redoing a lot of the scenery on here because I did actually a pretty decent job of scenicking it when I finished it before I left for college, but it's really not as good as I can do now, and I know that for sure. So I've been kind of taking a lot of the scenery off, especially the ballast, because I ballasted over just like these massive pieces of cork, and it's just a mess. So I cleared up all the excess cork around the tracks, and I cleared off all the old ballast and cleared off a lot of the old scenery, so I can start again. So I've started from this end of the layout, and you can see basically up to my head here is where I've scenic so far. And it's coming out very nice, and I'm very happy with it. And again, you'll get a closer look at that later on when things are going. But that's my big kind of overall project. But some other things I'm working on a couple of T-Track modules all at once. I've got a single T-Track module, which is just shy of 1 foot wide. And that is going to be, it's for a competition actually at the Hyde Park Station. Where basically they give you a Klondike's module, and you go from there. And it's up to you, basically. They give you the module and the tracks, and they say go. So I was working on it with my girlfriend before she had to move away for her job. And you know, I'm gonna finish it up basically, but we're building a little scene of an apple orchard. So we've got a little scratch built roadside farm stand that came out actually very nice, and I'm very happy with. That we're gonna have on there. We're gonna do make a little fence, and plant a bunch of apple trees, and we're gonna have a little road with a little stream going over it. So that's kind of a fantasy, you know, just for fun. And then I'm also working on a series of modules that I'm going to do, at least 2, if not 3, double modules. Potentially 2 doubles and a single, but I'm figuring all that out still. But I'm basically modeling the town where the railroad came through, the town that I grew up around, which is Hopewell Junction, New York. So I'm modeling the Maybrook line, which is again the railroad line that I model, the former New Haven line. And I'm taking that and I'm modeling to the best of my ability where it comes through town there. So I'm going to do the railroad depot. That's now a museum that I've spent a lot of time volunteering at. I'm going to be modeling a warehouse that's right alongside the tracks. I'm going to be modeling the overpass where New York, I believe it's New York 82, goes over the railroad tracks. And there's actually some really cool pictures that exist out there of steam locomotives under Route 82. You get one of the last pusher locomotives on the railroad stationed under the bridge with a brand new set of Alco FAs right next to them in the New Haven orange and green with the stripes. It's a great photo. But I'll be having that on there, and I'm also going to have, there's a lumber yard over there, so I'm going to have a spur off of the T-Track module, just a little siding, either 1 or 2 tracks to serve the lumber mill. So it's actually a quote-unquote operable module, I suppose. But so that's kind of my big things that I'm working on. So I have actually right here, I've got I went down to the depot and I measured
So I'm working out my N-scale drawing set for the N-scale depot. So we've got, there's the front view of the depot. You can see the doors, the windows, everything. There's the floor plan. I'm gonna actually put in a couple interior walls, and there's the ends of the depot, and that's all to scale. So that's how big it's gonna be. So that's something I've been working on, and then in the background, I'm always working on getting new B and CCS rolling stock up. So the next thing I'm trying to make as far as rolling stock goes is some gondolas. I'm trying to get into freight cars because I've got, oh lord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 locomotives now, 6 or 7 locomotives. I've got 2 cabooses, or caboose, I suppose. But I'm trying to get into some freight cars. So I've got this old, I believe it's an Atlas model. It actually doesn't say. Oh yes, it does. AHM. It's an AHM model from the 70s or 80s or something. So I'm going to strip all the paint off of this guy, repaint it into the maroon of the B and CCS, and get some reporting marks on there and see how that looks. Because I think the maroon is going to be a good freight car color, but I don't really know. So I got to try it. I want to try the maroon. I might try a boxcar next, and see if I can get some of the blue or the orange on there. Maybe do the whole car in orange. I don't know. I'm going to try some things, but I'm trying to get into Kabususus. Yeah. But I'm trying to get into doing some freight cars to build out the world some more. Like Eddie was saying before, it's really what makes things like Lord of the Rings so great is that back you know, the idea that there's things going on that you don't necessarily see. And so having freight cars is what I'm trying to do with that. And I'm going to also see about maybe getting some other freelance roads stuff. See if there's any of that out there in N-scale. Because again, that builds out the world. It connects my world to their world, and then that builds out. Oh, just kaboobos. I see. There was something blocking my screen. I was a little bit too much boost there, Lily. My bad. But yeah, so you know, by connecting my world to other freelance worlds and stuff, it adds credibility to both worlds, because it links the stories and everything. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been working on here. And that's, you know, some of my major projects. There's always cars, you know, later on today I'll be weathering cars. That's always something I'm working on, is weathering cars, both for myself and for others. I'm hopefully going to start up a you know, online weathering service at some point here soon to be able to do stuff for others and also maybe make some money on the side. Who knows? But yeah, that's kind of my story in model raring, I suppose. Where I've come from, what I'm working on, what my interests are. The other thing that interests me, I suppose, I can get into this a little bit, is I really like early Amtrak stuff. I don't know why. It's outside of my modeling era, although not by much. But I really love those early Rainbow era contests. I've got the set from Kato that they recently came out with. I had to buy it because I was just like, it's awesome. Of Rainbow era train set. Something about that kind of randomness really ties me in. So yeah, I've got my Phase 3 train set that I can run, and I've got a F40PH and 3 amphiletes and a Heritage baggage car that I can run as my intercity train on the layout whenever I have a layout, I suppose, or I can run it on club layouts or whatever. But I also have a lot of Phase 1 stuff, even though really I shouldn't, because 75, all the Phase 1 is getting repainted to Phase 2, if not Phase 3. Because Phase 3 comes around in 76. And that's the earliest, technically, my modeling era starts, so.
But I have this weird fascination with that early Amtrak era. So, and I've really gotten into learning about Amtrak and kind of figuring out where cars came from and where cars went and what railroads, learning about railroads that joined or didn't join Amtrak right away. So I have my railroad, I believe, didn't pass off passenger duties to Amtrak until 78 or 79, I think. So I can have some BNCCS passenger stock that stays around for a little bit. And just that era of kind of trends, because that's really kind of a turning point. That 70s and 80s, especially early 70s, that's really a turning point in North American railroading. It's kind of where things went, where you kind of get out of the early railroading era and into the modern era. Well, not early railroading, but it's where you get out of the kind of quote-unquote golden age of railroading and you get into model railroading. It's that transition, or modern railroading, not model railroading. It's that transition point where old meets new. You've got these new, you've got F40PHs, you have Dash 7s, you have the Dash 2 series with all electronic controls and stuff. But you also still have some heavyweight passenger cars around. You still have dozens of quote-unquote Class 1 railroads. So there's a lot to kind of get into, and that's really why I focused in on that era, I think. As well as just the fact that, 1975 to 1985, 80s, railroads started to have the money to treat their rolling stock better again, but especially the 70s, I can weather anything as just about as heavily as I want, and there's a prototype for it. It's an era of rust and dirt, to be sure. So that's kind of what I do in my world of model railroading. So I think that might be where I'm gonna call it for my little intro portion here. So yeah, welcome to the Train-A-Thon. We're gonna have a great day today. I'm really excited to see how this event goes. I'm gonna remind everyone again. There it is. That corner there is a QR code to the GoFundMe campaign, and the GoFundMe campaign is for my cousin's daughter, who's been recently orphaned. And all the money, all the proceeds that we acquire, all the proceeds that we get from the day are at the GoFundMe are going to go to a IRS 529 plan, and that's going to help raise some money and save some money for Novalia when she's old enough to go to college, to have a fund to start to draw from to go to college and be able to do what she wants in her life. So if you have a couple dollars to spare, no donation is too small. No donation is required or expected, but all donations are greatly appreciated by myself and my family. So if you have some money to spare and you're willing to, we greatly appreciate any money you could drop into the GoFundMe. And even if you don't have anything to spare right now, just hang out. Maybe share the stream to some of your friends, and enjoy the day of railroading and model railroading. It's going to be a really fun time, and I really hope you enjoy. And I've got my fingers crossed that this is going to be a great day. Exactly, just like Lily said in the chat there. 100 people giving $1 is still $100. Doesn't matter how you get there. That's still a lot of money. Especially when it goes into a savings plan where it can accrue interest over the next 17, 18 years until Novalia is ready to withdraw it. So anything you can give is greatly appreciated. Thanks for tuning in today. Like I said, even if you don't have anything to share, if you could just you could do share the stream to someone, and just doing that is a huge help. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up just a video to play in the background real quick while our next act, I suppose you could say, is preparing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to an excellent day. So thanks for hopping in. Let me get that pulled up, and we can move on to the day. So let me just switch to this real quick, and then we'll switch back.
I'm going to have you run this section, and then the guests can run, since you can come all the time. You do not have to climb the run, that was just for, we had to do round there last night.
So it's gonna be switching in this area?
Yeah, it's all switching.
Okay, using that power.
Yeah.
And it's tethered to this?
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got one main line run up, go over there to pick up that set of cars. But that's not,
At the polymer plant?
no, right there.
Oh, those covered.
The cut of...
And those two boxes.
Nice.
When you're ready to do that, we'll give you permission to go up and get them. Because there's a ton of trains going by, so.
Yeah. One thing I can request, not too much luck standing for a long period of time. Yes. Well, there was one guy.
It's Finger Lakes power.
Any questions or whatever?
No, I've been shooting videos on each of the layouts that I've been to this weekend. So I like to start off with kind of an overview. That way, as people are watching the video, they have a sense of kind of the space we're in. And then from there, focusing on whatever ops I'm running and whatever passes me. Oh, I was on
signals. If you got clearance all the way to accrue.
Don't mind the rail fan.
I don't know if you were waiting for something to come in the corner.
Nope. I'm the yard, but the yard has a minute, so I'm doing a small bit of rail fanning.
Those three houses up there, those three bungalows.
These guys?
Next to that metal. Those are on Dave's father's layout.
Oh, wonderful.
Remember, I think seeing him there. He passed away in 2012. He'd gotten his layout exactly at the point where it was almost perfect track, perfect electric.
It was
It was time to
complete.
Yeah, it was time. You know, the scenery hadn't really started. It was time to do that, but then he
Passed.
he was still paying.
Yeah.
Finally, when we converted to ECC, a lot of the problems.
Yeah. Off of the DC block system.
Now, because New Haven still ran all the railroads in Connecticut, Rhode Island, half of Massachusetts. And there was a lot of industry. And they went to Congress and said, you know, we are losing $1 million a day.
Yeah.
We can't run this railroad anymore. If you don't do something, we're not doing chapter 11, we're doing chapter 17.
Yeah, whatever. And we're
going to
liquidate all assets and discontinue all operations.
Yeah,
And that would cause all of New England to implode.
Stay in 2.5 states.
I mean, even
We got them.
Okay. So in just a minute here, we're gonna try and swap over to our next person who's gonna be on here, who's Eddie. He's the guy who actually really got this whole model train people thing started. So the stream might cut out for a moment here. We're still not quite sure how this is gonna work. So we might have some difficulties here, but that's why we're trying this out now. That way we can hopefully get them sorted out before things continue on further down the day. But, so we're going to try and swap over to Eddie now. Eddie's, I believe, going to be doing some scenery work. So we're going to try and swap over to him. The video there that was just on, that was my video from Dave Martini's HL Scale CSX Northeast layout, which was a great layout. It's a lot of fun. But we're going to try and swap over to Eddie in just a minute here. Just trying to make sure that he's ready to go. Hopefully he's just about ready to move, and then we can try and swap him on in, and we'll see how this goes. But I don't know. I haven't tried this yet. We probably should have tried this out a little sooner. But it's okay. We're figuring things out a little bit as we go. But we're gonna try and get this swapped over here in just a minute. And and hopefully we'll be all good to go. So we're gonna try and swap Eddie in here, and in the meantime, how's everyone doing today? I know it's certainly here on the east coast of the United States, it's pretty early. Lily, for you over in Europe, it's probably about what, midday-ish, maybe a little later. So you're probably just doing fine. But for us here in the United States and North America, because Tim, I know you're not here in the U.S., you're up north. So here in the States, and in North America, we're a little bit early still. But I'm doing all right. I'm excited to be here. I didn't get as much sleep as I probably should have last night, but that's fine. Yeah, 1500. Yeah, you're pretty well into the afternoon at this point now, so I imagine you're about as awake as you can be during the day, as anyone can be. Very fair, Lily. And yeah, it's actually a relatively cool day here down here in New York. It's gonna be, I believe, 75 at its peak. So relatively cool for the summer. But yeah, so we're just kind of hanging out, but doing well. Very excited for to get things going here today. So let's see here now. Very fair. Very fair. That's I mean, that's about the situation I went through all of college in, is about that. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and swap over here. And we're going to see if I can get this to work. So the stream might close here, and then I might have to reopen it. We're going to try. So fingers crossed that we're good to go. So we're gonna try to swap over to Eddie here, and hopefully this works. Okay, I'm going to click the button here. And hopefully you guys see Eddie. And if not, then I'll click the button again, and it'll hopefully come back.
can you guys hear me now? Hold on. All right, let me do this. La Chingo. Yo, what the heck?
You may have to go to the settings button and then do audio and then actually select a microphone from mics.
Yeah. Auto channel first one, otherwise obvious.
Oh.
You guys hear me now?
It's gonna take a second.
Yeah.
To catch up. Tim says, "Don't worry, we have 24 hours to." Oh,
Can you guys hear me now? Okay.
Now we can hear you.
Dope.
Okay.
All right, fantastic. All right, dude, I'm gonna hang up with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yep.
Holy shnikes, y'all. Well, that was fun. Okay. Let me pull up the chat here just so I can see what's going on. Oh, there we go. Oh, baby. All right. Well, that's always fun. Real quick, I'm just going to remind you that because of the baby, we are all, I'll let you all read that in this house. So we're just gonna roll with it. Hi, Tim. Hi, Lily. I hope you guys are having a great time watching this. Okay. K-Moss. All right, so this is what we're going to do. Totally forgot that I needed to paint these first. But I guess we're going to skip that for this. And that is just how fate is going to have it. All right, so first and foremost, we're going to play with the Woodland Scenics Fine Light Gray here on this. Again, for those of you who I don't think anybody could hear me on that, so I apologize for the first 6 minutes of that. Hi, everybody. What's going on? I'm Eddie. And this is my Klondike's T-Track standard corner. I'm going to be weathering to make it into a fall scene. A couple things. The two things that I think I'm going to be able to knock out today is ballasting this bad boy. Hopefully I have enough. If not, well, we'll get one. And then I've got a bunch of coarse turf here. Try to get this down to a little finer, a finer mixture, if you will, to essentially make puffball trees and make them make it look like it's autumn in, think, southern West Virginia. This is eventually going to be part of a larger module setup that I'm going to call the Guiandot subdivision. It's going to be based off of coal operations in southern West Virginia in the modern era, because you know what, I like modern stuff. All right, give me 30 seconds because I've got a German Shepherd outside that wants to come in. All right, now that he's in, yeah, no kidding, the chat delay is ridiculous on this, so let me see what I can do about this. All right, so anyway, first what we're going to do is I'm going to try to do the ballast inside on the sides here, and then in here, actually ran into some challenges when I did this on my big layout upstairs. Big layout's a 2x4. I'm going to try to do a technique here where in between the tines, here, like, get a little closer. Hi, Danny. How we doing, buddy? Baby's asleep, yes. Okay, so kind of getting here. The challenge with Woodland Scenics is because it is a crushed up, I think it's crushed up shell, it'll float in water. So what I'm going to try to do is I've got Q-tips. We're going to go in the middle here, try to put some glue down on in between the tines and basically use that as a way to kind of mitigate when it does come time to put alcohol and the scenic cement down on it, or the glue mixture, that it's a little try to avoid its tendency to float, because if not, like what happened when I did this the first time is it floated against the side of the tracks, and it made it my locomotives when they were running through it sound like it was they were off-roading, which is never fun and never a sign of a good time when it comes to this stuff. All right, it's that. Pull this up. Mute this, which is, oh yeah, that is a ridiculous, I pulled it up on the side here, and yeah, that is definitely a interesting delay. I guess that's going to be a word for it. All right, so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start this up. Okay. So the first things first. Throw some glue on the sides here. We're going to do it, I'm going to do it as a piece at a time. So these are two separate track pieces. We're just going to see how this works out. I hope you all are having a great day wherever you guys are. And at least the initial chaos of this has been, if anything, entertaining. And I ask you please to either laugh or cry with me. I'll leave it up to you which one you guys want to do on that. But this should go relatively quick. I'm hoping this goes relatively quick. Granted, the middle tines there are going to be the issue, I think. But you know what? I kind of like do this to. This is art, right? Like, I really enjoy scenicking. I've been active in model railroading really since, we'll call it December. Kind of my backstory on this is, always loved model railroading as a kid. I was a military brat growing up. My dad was stationed in Elmendorf, at Elmendorf Air Force Base, Alaska. And one of my very, very vivid memories, kind of like as a 3, 4, 5-year-old, is right outside the gate was one of the big rail yards for the Alaskan Railway. And I always wanted to do the Denali like excursion or whatever and go do that, but I wasn't old enough to express that as a kid. Didn't know what it was. But yeah, so early 90s, Tyco is a big thing, and for Christmas of, I want to say 1993, 1994, my parents got me a Tyco set. It was a Santa Fe, where I remember it had a Burlington Northern like boxcar set, and had a Amtrak viewing car that my dad had purchased separately. And man, y'all, I ran that thing like crazy. I really wish I knew where it was, because I'm sure trash and millions of moves later. But it was kind of like, that was kind of a cool little like formative memory, if you will. Kind of what got this going. Used to be obsessed with Southern Pacific, and would my my wife like would watch like Aladdin until the VHS would wear out, and my thing was watching. We had a VHS of National Geographic's Love Those Trains, which showcased the Salad Bowl Express, and that was like really, because like red was my favorite color, still is my favorite color, and y'all, I tell you, obsessed with that as a kid. That was like my thing. So kind of moving forward, fell off as an adult. Got exposed to N scale. I think there was like I want to say there was an N rail in San Antonio, in South Park Mall. If anybody is familiar with that, I think it's now torn down. As most malls in the States are slowly getting torn down, but they had a huge Southern Pacific layout, and I was like that was cool as hell to see. About 11 years old, and my dad and I were starting to kind of build out a train, like a small little layout in N scale, and as life happens and you're 12, 13 years old, there's football, there's girls, and I stopped messing with trains. Fast forward to this last fall, Mary, my wife, we were sitting around the house. I ended up being home after recovering from an appendectomy, which was a lot of fun. She was, about, public math there, 5-6 months pregnant, and we were getting ready to set up our Christmas tree stuff. And she's like, "Hey, do you want to put a train under the tree?" And that kind of unlocked the inner child, and I haven't looked back since. Got a little B&O SD9 that was kind of running under there until the dogs thought it was there to murder them. Not really the German Shepherd here that's kind of laying out on the side, but I've got a Shih Tzu who she's terrified of it, so that we had to pull that up quickly. But that's slowly morphed into kind of where we are at present day. Hold on. Let's see what's going on. It could be worse. Yes, I am streaming on YouTube originally. I apologize as I'm trying to see all this stuff. I'm just going to pull this off here. There we go. Let that do that. Oh yeah, no. So Dawn, yeah, no. I got a Bachmann Easy Track set when we were doing the initial kind of setup for the layout under the tree, and that stuff is atrocious to work with. This stuff is fantastic. Absolutely love Unitrack, and ballasting it should make it make it pop, which is what I'm here for today. All right, look at this here, like this, just a little bit more. Can't have too much glue. So I was saying earlier before Dennis graciously called me to let me know that the audio wasn't working. The intent of this is West Virginia coal country. So my family is originally from. My mom loves Chessie. She's also a crazy cat lady, so kind of go figure there. All right, Tim. See you in a little bit. But yeah, so that's kind of as an homage to what used to be kind of crazy coal loss, more set in the modern era with some Proto-Land stuff. But we'll see. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to dump it. I'm going to do on one side. Kind of what I'm going to try to do is with this, which I hope I have enough, is I'm going to try to level out the ballast in the middle here. So that's going to be the challenge for this setup. At least we'll get it on the side, and I have some brushes here that I'm going to do. And I've got the glue applied between the tines on these, and really we'll see. I'll probably end up having to scrape this stuff at the end anyway. But I mean that is what it is. But yeah. So without further ado, let's get this applied. It's just going to be chaos for now. Just trying to get it down. So for those of you who are stressed out by just kind of randomly pouring, please look away. I apologize. Here we go. Either you love doing this or you hate it. I actually kind of like this. It's where I can turn off my brain. Which shoot is bird brain more or less anyway, and just kind of like let this happen. I'm not overly concerned about the tines on the side. I do like how it looks in the middle though, so that's why I'm again trying to get the glue to kind of cooperate. And then with this, I'll just tamp it down like that at some point, and this is the sculpting. This is where the art comes in of trying to get this to look legit, look like it's actually real, look like it is on a cork bed, or it's not Unitrack, but you can definitely, like, this is the one piece I think that like stresses the most people out. I've seen on a couple like different, I've not seen a lot of people try to ballast on Unitrack, and I know there's some challenges with that, but you know what, we'll see how this goes. And if this module doesn't look great, then it's going to come to my office at work, and it's going to live on a shelf, and I might just bring some locos and hot glue them to it just for a scene. It'll be a little conversation piece. Probably get some weird looks from my boss, but you know what, it'll be fun. And this kid's sleeping. I was going to have to baby wear him through this. So in the background, and I do not remember if I mentioned this or not, but there is some music kind of playing, some soft classical music that is emanating from a Fisher-Price swing. Baby loves to sleep there. I swear I'm a good father. At least I try. But also, happy early Father's Day to those on this side of the Prime Meridian. Which I don't think... So yeah, this is just the tedious goings-ons of making sure that this is looking good, that this is looking distant. Hey, listen, you know, I gotta put those good vibes out there. Now, he's a sweetheart. It's being a dad has probably been the best thing. Like, it sounds silly and cliche as hell, and I don't know, I guess I am a walking cliche. Like, I'm 34 years old, playing with trains. I got a kid now, so I mean, like, it's totally like white suburban dad, like, to the max over here. But no, he's great. And he started laughing, like, we went out with some friends that I haven't seen in a while, and like he's been like he gums it, like he's just big gummy smile or whatever. And like we're driving home, and then like all of a sudden we start hearing these like little baby chuckles in the back, and it was emotional. But holy shnikes, the lack of sleep. I'd never like the amount of tired. Like, I would complain about being tired before, and I'm extra. I need my beauty rest. Because if I can't have hair, then you know what, my skin's gonna look great. One of those things where I try to figure that out. And yeah, so it's what you can do with like 3 hours of sleep and not hungover or not clubbing or anything like that. Because like in my 20s, like, my God, like 5 a.m, like, all right, cool, let's go to bed, wake up in 3 hours, and we'll start doing it again. I got some crazy stories in Seoul of doing that at like 25, and some in Europe, not as much, but I did get really drunk in Riga once. That was fun. That was a wild night, and I got sick on the plane ride back to Frankfurt, and all the German people on the plane turned around and looked at me, and I just got the dirtiest looks ever, just because there I was, the ugly American, sitting in the back, and just not having any type of class. I was trying my best, but it was bumpy, and I felt embarrassed. And the looks that they gave me, I 100% deserved. But as I've matured and grown, I've realized that sleep is important, and my body just can't do the things that I was doing 9 years ago. And well, now it's like, all right, cool. I guess if I had hair, this is where it would turn gray, because I'm, up every 2 hours, but my wife and I, and it's fun. But the good news is we support each other. We're checking in on each other's mental health, which is probably the best thing. Like, as a partnership, like, her and I have really been good with this, and like her letting me, like, kind of vibe with the trains and giving me space to do that, and I give her space to garden, and that's it. So this has gotten a little messier than I thought it would. Oh, it's balancing. It's going to be messy anyway, but I got to figure out here we go. I'm going to try to come back. This is really the Zen gardening piece of model railroading right here. Like, I'm trying to get this all to line up. We'll do this back end. This is actually going a little faster than I thought it would. Then maybe later tonight, once this dries, we'll see if I can get. I don't think I'll get the trees done tonight, but at the very least, maybe we'll get the trees. Put this in the basement, let this dry. Ooh. Yes. Oh my gosh. Lily, I don't know if I was telling you, but I'm slow. I think I was telling Tay. But that is definitely in the works. That I just got to figure out how we're going to do it. I know Mary would be on board with it. She don't care that much. We have some space in our backyard that I think would be a nice little, like, a loop would be really cool. It's just, I don't know what I would want to do. And then it's like, this is gonna be blasphemous for the LGBT family, but I don't really like steam that much. It's not my thing. I apologize for the blaspheming there. But if I can, I don't know. I found that I like transition era stuff. Transition era 2-axle diesels are really cool to me. But really, I really like British. I like British steam over American steam. I think the British steamers are beautiful, like the different colors. And like the big boys, massive. Pinsy has some really unique stuff to it. But I don't know, it just doesn't. It's never really done it for me, even as a kid. I really hope this turns out. I know it will. Either way, it's going to look good, regardless of how bad it looks and how amateur. But you know what? Kind of like everybody's favorite Afro oil painter, Bob Ross. Little happy accidents. Get out of there! What are you doing? Hey. The vibes are pristine this morning, so... Dude, this kid's still sleeping. This is great. Oh my god, I feel like I'm like on a heist. I'm trying to do this as quick as possible before, the chaos begins. And to carry on a conversation from earlier, and Dennis's stream, when he was talking about kind of like the world building and stuff for his, his railroad. And yeah, it really is 80% of I don't know, I don't creatively write it or anything like that, but in our channel that talks about people's layout lore and stuff, any good series, be that Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, granted, yes. I don't think George R.R. Martin is ever going to finish those books, and we're always going to be stuck with the mess that seasons 7 and 8, where 7 wasn't that bad. I also think 8 had some great things, Clegane Bowl in particular. But like hell, even like my wife got me into the accrue series, and although Sarah J. Maas's writing is iffy at best, in my personal opinion, the world building. All right, I'm gonna talk out both sides of my mouth. Like it's interesting, like kind of what she does is of getting all the universes like to combine. But if you look at the damn map of Prithian, well, I guess George R.R. Martin did it too. It's basically the British Isles, which is, it's like, y'all, if you're gonna do this, like I like George R. Like I like J.R.R. Tolkien's like you make the continent and like. I think it's just kind of late. It's easy, but it's lazy to like. I don't know. It's my random literary world building rant for y'all at 9:33 in the morning Eastern, and I think carry the 1 o'clock 13 GMT. Anyway, all right, we've got a little bit more. Glue applied. We're just going to go do a little bit more here. Coming here with the foam brush. Get these knocked out. Back with the brushies. Just get more going this way. What I probably will end up having to do, I think, especially with the stuff in the middle, is probably apply some and then come back and do a second layer. But we'll see how that turns out. Can you guys still hear me? Yeah. Fantastic. I'm just realizing that the stuff for the live stream, or like the QR code, let me see if I can go ahead and show that real quick. So for those of you who are watching this in posterity, again, this is obviously a live stream to support Dennis, also known as Inscale Train Boy's cousin, Novena, after she lost her, or Novalina, excuse me, her mother, so we can get her some money taken care of for college. So if you do feel so generous, there is that you can scan later and hit pause and do what you need to. But again, we're giving our time, a couple of us who are doing this, a bunch of us who are doing this rather, to kind of help a good cause. You know what? Maybe if this is successful, maybe this ends up becoming like a kind of annual thing that we find a cause and we do stuff for it. All right, just add a little bit more on this. I think the problem is I have not enough glue. We're just gonna dump that and see what happens. So kind of a cool memory, if you will. Oh, shoot, he just pooped. Nope, that was a fart. All right, cool. I thought I just heard him, like, rip it. kind of cool train memories, right? So my grandpa, we just went out to go visit him. We're living in New Jersey, and my grandfather is back in West Virginia, and he's not in great health. So gotta do the track, introduce the baby to him. Maybe got his first round of shots. So we're like, all right, cool. We're confident we can do this. By the way, if you guys have never been through Western Maryland, highly recommend it. It is gorgeous going out that way. I think Western Maryland, they still have the tourist train that's sitting out that way too. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Dennis, that was to your message there. But yeah, so when I was a kid, and they knew it, like parents, everybody kind of knew I was like in the trains and stuff as a kid and stuff. And my grandpa took me to Huntington Station, and there's a huge CSX has their, I'm not sure how long it's been there, but their engine overhaul facility is sitting out there in Huntington, but they have a massive rail yard that kind of goes to the middle of the city. And we went to the Amtrak station, and I remember we just kind of sat and watched coal consists and stuff kind of go by, and got some of the switchers to honk their horn for me, so that was kind of cool. Thought it was a little too loud there as a kid, but at that time I was like, it's not SP, I don't care about this stuff. But yeah, kind of a really cool kind of formative memory that I wish, I was like 6 years old, 7 years old when they did that, so it's not like, but kind of a neat opportunity to kind of go see that stuff. And in the heyday of like kind of back end of as Chessie was slowly phasing out, and it's like, man, it'd be awesome to have some cool, like set up some pictures from then. Although there's somebody online who within like the last like 2 years, there's like there's a brand. It's like a class 2 or class 3 that's up in like somewhere in northern West Virginia, where they never repainted it. This line purchased a Chessie, a B&O Jeep 9, and it still runs, and it still operates, and that it's so cool to see like a lot of these old units and stuff. Like, shoot, like that's a piece of history right there that people are still like utilizing them. Granted, probably like trying to like maintain it, and I think that kind of shows like the heritage of like the people who like, hey, like we like. I know modern railroading has a lot of challenges right now, especially in the United States. Like looking at you, Norfolk Southern and East Palestine, Ohio. But I think some of these, like, you can tell it's like the people who actually really enjoy kind of what they're doing and stuff, and they understand the history to it. So they're keeping these units kind of alive and running, and it's nice to see that. Oh yeah, no, Huntington is really cool to see some stuff. I couldn't get a picture of it just because I like the CSX, their security, like I was like dude kind of rolled up on me and gave me a look, and it's like, man, I ain't messing with people in West Virginia. I don't care. Like if it's not in the Holler or not. Holler, for those of you who don't know, is the little valley towns in between the different hills and mountains. But they had the hydrogen CSX that was sitting out there, and I tried to get a picture of it, but I couldn't. But then, like, what's ironic is the day I left, someone snapped a picture of the B&O library unit, that heritage unit that it's been rolling around, and that would have been really cool to get a picture of. Safety gets in the way of profits. Safety is for those European folks. We don't get the luxury of that from our from our capital overlords here in the States. Oh boy. I think we've reached... I may have to cut this short. We'll see. He's just going to chill out there for a little bit. Hi, buddy. Not you, Danny. Yeah. Challenge is he does not like to be baby worn. I mean, he's really tired. He's cool with it, but like he's getting to the point now where like he has to see what's going on. You know what? We got this. I think he's gonna come over here. I'm gonna move some stuff. He's gonna sit and watch this. Hi, baby. Oh, Danny. Come here. Come here. Oh, scrunch. All right. Yeah. You just want to be held. Huh? Just want to be held. All right. So he's just gonna first do this one-handed because that's what I was doing anyway. He's just gonna watch, huh? Yeah, I don't know if you guys watch John Oliver or not, but like the the video he did in like the last couple of months on the railroad industry in the United States and like the Thomas the Tank Engine setup, I thought was freaking awesome. And poor Henry just getting completely destroyed by the chemicals and the fire was just a masterpiece. And also looking at that, I think it was they were doing 3 rails, so like some O scale like stuff, or like I'm curious, like I would love to see what gauge they used when they did that. Yeah. Oh, I know. It was fantastic. Like they did their homework for that, and if only the only way it could have been better was if they had gotten Ringo to do the voice, or George Carlin, but George Carlin kind of like weirds me out. I think, yeah, I just can't. He's just too angry for me, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, he did a couple seasons for Thomas. Holy shnikes! Like Ringo will always be like that voice for me. Oh, fun fact: as a kid, I watched so much Thomas. That they've got video of me speaking with a British accent because I started picking up the at least the accent of like Ringo and stuff. It's always a fun one to explain, like for my parents to explain. I was like, what the hell is that about? Like watching like old home videos and it's like, yeah, dude, you were just like watching so much Thomas, and it's just like, oh, that's funny. What? All right, we're probably just going to put a pause on this. Let's see, 20 beam pellet gauge, 1 Thomas. Ooh, that would be really cool. See, that would be the ultimate garden layout, I think. If I could get some Thomas stuff, like especially with the kid, like that's just like that's my entry into it. He gets excited about it because it's big and he can watch it and then interact with it. And then I start like, just throwing thousands of dollars of money I don't have at other setups. Where is the bobby? There it is. All right, I think we're going to take a bobby break on this for a little bit, but I'm here to talk, answer any questions you all have. Oh, I know. I'm excited about it. Just wait until he has his own likes and stuff. But really what I'm looking forward to is when he's actually old enough to go do stuff and I take him everywhere with me. It's literally, it's right now it's Shrek and Donkey kind of. We're on a whirlwind adventure. We're seeing stuff. Granted, he has no clue. He's not gonna remember any of this stuff. But like that I take I'm enjoying the moments where he is sweet and tiny and a scrunchkin. But I just can't wait until he's 3.5, 4, where he's starting to become more like a person and we can go do things and I can show him stuff and I can have a little rail fan buddy. And then, then he'll find T-ball or something and then all that money will go to that. And now we're just looking at the lights. Really, the clutch is when it's going to be when he's able to, hold his own bottle. But then it's also, once he's able to do that, you're also entertaining him for other things too. But yeah, I think this part now is hopefully later tonight. This is done. I can kind of start as we start, doing more of laying down the dirt and different things. But not bad for 40 minutes of, my stream of consciousness and sitting down and getting the stuff knocked out. I do have 2 or 3 Klondike. No, I have 2 Klondike drop modules for the 1-inch foam that are in the mail. They were supposed to have showed up yesterday with some screws for the track because this is glued down. I'm gonna use I've been having a really hard time. I know Nick provided some stuff for the for screwing the track straight down, but underneath, these modules have points, spots where you can go and utilize the screw holes that are already put in Unitrack. But those little screws are really hard to find. But thought I had ordered some stuff late last weekend, early I think Monday, and nothing arrived. Okay, awesome, cool. Yeah, I think I just need to figure out how to do it on this one. It's probably because it's coming from my phone. But hey, lesson learned. Let's see. We're drinking right now, but it doesn't time to stand. I haven't been standing. Thank you, Apple Watch. He doesn't really want to drink. He just wants to look around. There's a lot of... All right, cool. You know what? We're going to take this opportunity. Since you just want to stare. Yeah, really what I need to do, too, is, figure out... Because I've got the raw materials and stuff to create my own T-Track modules. I want to do 2... 4 mod, I'm blanking on what those quad modules for a rail yard. This would be the kind of the big piece of the front of the layout, or I'll just basically use the quad for coal ops. Because I'll probably have to end up scratch building what I want to do, but Walter's not the one that everybody uses. But they have, it's like a drop where it comes up from a conveyor and you pull through. That's much more prototypical of what you see in Southern West Virginia versus the Western Wyoming style, Colorado style one that they have. And I can't remember the name of it. Where it's just a pull through and it's a run around track. Basically what I'm going to do is do 12 to 14 car, the coal hoppers deep, and basically try to use that as a kind of throw that in the middle of that and try to do that pull through to make it look as much like when what I remember growing up as possible. Because the one spot that I wanted to, I was going to go take a look at while I was back in West Virginia, it got torn down. But Google Maps has stuff from like 5 or 6 years ago that kind of shows the mine that I would like to model. So thank God for that. What you doing? Oh, you have puked. Where is the thing? Lily coming in clutch. Thank you. Yeah. What do you think, dude? Watch your feet. Just want to sit and stare. Here. He's still very much a potato right now, but we'll eventually move past that phase. Get your little room here. Although it sounds like you're trying to work on something, buddy, which would be great for all the random people on the internet to hear that happen. All right. Are we safe? There we go. Hi. Hello. Now I have an audience. Bless you. That's the baby. How to do this? There we go. Yep. Yeah, that's happened a few times. The best is the blowout, where I had to give him a bath and then go get a shower before I was gonna. Hi, what you coming about? What you coming about? What you coming about? Before I had to go get an oil change. That was a blast. He was really proud of himself, and then upset that I had the audacity to give him a bath. That's kid logic. All right, let's see. Let's pull up Google Docs here and see who's next. So as we're coming up on the tail end of this, and I gotta go wake up my loving bride from her comatose state. Google Drive. This is not where I parked my car. Let's do this instead. Dope, dope, dope. 14. Cool, we'll roll this for a little bit longer because I think next up, 12 to 1 Eastern, 18 to 19 Central European. Dennis comes back on. Unless Dennis, there was somebody who was supposed to come on at 11 that wasn't on the calendar. Oh. All right. Yeah. I think I need a little bit more glue. trying to get the levels right on this. That's what I forgot to do. I was like, why isn't this sticking? All right. Does the hand taste good, buddy? That's good. That's good. Yeah. Good call, Don. That would be awkward. I'm not sure for who, for him or for me. All right, that seems to do it. Do what I needed to. Ooh, that'll be fun. Yeah, I'll switch off of here probably in 15 minutes. So we'll do 10:15. Because then, hi, buddy. Oh, you're so damn cute, and you know it too. Yeah. You got smiles? Do you have smiles? Hi. Yep, it's the big black box. Ooh. Hi. He was smiling, it was cute, but every time we put the camera out, he just it's like a moth to the flame. Oh shoot, that's fun. I didn't mean to do that. Oh, that's gonna be a problem. I just kicked up my T-track piece there, and we're gonna have to go get some, probably glue this back down. All right. Piece. Well, that's awkward. All right, we'll come back and figure that out in a minute. But we'll just focus on this side then. What, buddy? All right, actually, guys, I am going to call this now. So, Dennis, once I get your acknowledgement on that, if we gotta do a break, you guys switch to something, just so we're not on the stream die. Bless you. Dang it. All right. Get some caulk back over here. Make sure we're still within the 42 millimeters. Yeah.
All right, I'm back here now for just a little bit. I'm gonna pull up another video from my YouTube channel to just play as I get things set up on my end, and then we'll swap back to me as I'm setting up for my op session, and then we'll run some switching on my layout back here. So we're gonna turn the volume off of my phone. That way we don't have too much echoes. But let me get that all pulled up here, and let me just find something quick to